Uh-oh, guess what day it is? Guess what day it is? Huh? Anybody? Julie, hey, guess what day it is? Oh, come on, I know you can hear me. Mike. What day is it, Mike? Leslie, guess what today is?
It's Humpday.
Woo-hoo!
Woohoo! That's our cue.
That's our cue. Welcome to the Wednesday Hump Day edition of the Golf Show.
That's us.
Yeah.
Good to see everybody here.
Live in person.
James Stammer
Arlen Bento.
and Frank, our friendly technician and producer.
Frank
and
on keyboards.
expert and keyboards. How's everybody doing today?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm good. Gorgeous weather here in our
man.
neck of the woods. Isn't it incredible?
It's pretty out.
Chamber of Commerce weather, I call it.
Yeah.
Chamber of Commerce every day.
Went and played Florida Club.
Oh, that's right.
Got a chance
I
on
know,
Saturday
I
morning
know.
to see
Yeah.
how everything was going. My son, Arlen was busy, so he couldn't come, and my son was supposed to join Dan and I to play, and
Dan Shoop.
yep.
Yeah.
And I called.
Partner in crime.
I called my son when he wasn't there. It was like 15 minutes before tea time, and I woke him up.
It's like, really?
He's like, oh, well, I overslept.
Yeah, we got that.
I said, well, you want to make it out here and you can join us for the back nine or whatever. He's like, all right. Well, come to find out, my grandson had played with his phone and actually pushed it ahead an hour. Somehow or another, he managed to push it ahead an hour. So when his alarm first went off, he's like, well, something ain't right. It's still pretty dark out. He's like, oh, I'll go back to sleep and get back up. So when I called him, he thought it was an hour later than it was. He's like, they got to be on like the sixth hole already. There's no way I'm going to get there in time for the back nine when we really hadn't even teed off yet.
Oh, my God.
So
it didn't work out.
He missed out. But that's all right. We got another invite to go out and enjoy the place.
And how was it?
I like it. I like it a lot better than
Yeah.
used to. I mean, like I said, they've gotten rid of a lot of the junk.
That's been around that
And,
place.
that's been around, a lot of the palmettos and that sort of scrub and stuff that kind of ate your ball up and narrowed in the fairways. That's all gone. They've moved some trees out of the way and gotten rid of them and opened some other areas up. So it's in the greens. I mean, when you can't lengthen a golf course to defend it against, today's technology that, the ball goes a lot further than it used to. The best way then to defend the course is you make the greens a little harder. And the greens complexes are definitely more difficult than they used to be.
So they actually shaped and moved. They moved a lot.
They reshaped all the greens. I mean, there is a lot more undulation on those greens now than there was before.
I thought it was just like a grass out.
No.
Get rid of old grass because they always had that problem that Floratam.
Yeah.
Had always kind of encroached, right,
Yep.
on top of the Bermuda. So
Yep.
I thought that's what they were doing it for, just to kind of reestablish the Bermuda.
The boundaries of
Right.
the fairway and rough.
It was a lot more than that.
Yeah, they did a lot more than that, which is part of why it took a lot longer than they anticipated.
Did it feel like a different golf course? I mean, the holes are pretty the same, right?
The holes are pretty much the same. There's a couple of different angles you get that you didn't used to, and 16's been completely changed. Used to be a straightaway kind of short par 4, and if you played one of the more forward tees and you had a wind at your back,
You could get there, yeah.
you could almost get to the green or get to the green. Now the green is on a peninsula over where the back of the 17th tee used to be.
Right.
So now, you can hit a hybrid off the tee and have 110 yards in, or you
Or
can
driver down the
or you can hit a driver way down there and still have 100 yards
Because of the
green
angles.
Because of the angles. So it was pretty neat.
And the grass was really nice.
Oh yeah. Not a lot of divots yet. We added a few.
Yeah.
we
Well, that
added
was
a few.
good. I'm glad you got to do that.
We added a few, and I tested out. I was in bunkers on 7 holes on the front 9.
Oh.
I was.
You put your short game
your
sand game to the test.
I thought I went to the beach, man. It was. It was like I left my lawn chair at home.
So you played like Kisner did against Bubba Watson on Sunday.
Something like that. Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Oh, so I'm glad you had a good time. That was great.
Yeah, real good. They did a real nice job with it, and the staff is super cool, super friendly, and welcoming and interesting.
Is the clubhouse the same, where they redid all the insides too?
The inside's been redone. It's similar layout that it had before and all, but
Right.
it was pretty popular when we were there. I mean, a lot of people were there eating breakfast and all, and when we got done, people were there watching, getting ready to watch the NCAA tournament.
So there was a
on
lot
the
of
TV.
activity.
So it was a hopping place. Everybody seemed to be pouring in the doors. So
Well,
to
it's good.
speak.
We needed that. It's nice having that one
Yeah.
more course in the area just
yeah.
to balance I'm sure the Hammock Creeks and the Champions Club and the Eagle Marshes have been enjoying not having the competitor, but I think it's good for the courses to kind of spread out. And Florida Club has always drawn, because of its proximity to 95.
Yeah, it's right there.
People come up from Jupiter, Palm Beach Gardens. It's not a long drive.
No.
So they pull Palm Beach County easily, whereas to come up to go to play Eagle Marsh or even Hammock Creek, I mean, it's a much little longer drive to get there.
Yeah.
But Hammock Creek's actually pretty good.
Hammock Creek's pretty quick and easy to get to.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, but
But
anyway, that was good. I'm glad you enjoyed it.
Had a good time.
Yeah,
Had a real
that's
good time.
good.
So
That's good.
thanks to big thank you to Brendan Murphy, their new head pro out there, who
Brendan Murphy. Wow.
used to be at the Breakers down in Palm Beach.
Yeah, I think I know who he is.
Yeah.
Oh, that's really interesting that they brought a guy from Breakers to the Florida Club.
Yeah, that's a big jump. I mean,
Sometimes you got to take the head pro job. But
so
hey, it works out for him. I got to go give him a call. Maybe they'll have me out. I'd like to go check it out in the afternoon. Give my look at it.
there you go.
Write something about it. So it's good. Very cool.
So the pros were playing the big pros, the high ranked pros were playing. We're playing over in Texas. Right outside Austin.
Right outside Austin. Right.
Right outside Austin, playing the World Golf Championships, the match play event, which is always fun to watch. I mean, I happen to like match play. I think it's pretty neat. The bad part is sometimes you don't wind up with the matchup you hoped for or TV was hoping for in the end.
Perfect example of that would be
this year when we Bubba Watson, who everybody he's kind of a polarizing figure, but
of course, yeah.
But he's a big name.
Sure.
Got a couple of majors under his belt.
Yeah. A couple of jackets.
A couple of green jackets. So it was the what would you call it? It was the semifinal that
was the exciting one.
That looked more exciting than the
against
finals.
Justin Thomas. Yeah.
Him and Justin Thomas versus
battling.
Yeah. I mean, it's interesting to see how far the two of them hit the golf ball.
Oh yeah, they kill it.
I mean, they absolutely kill it.
But what's amazing about the two comparisons, Watson is this 6'4" athletic, long, gets it way up there behind his head and kind of creams it. And then Thomas is just efficient. I mean, it's just tight and solid, and he's using every ounce of his frame, and he, that swing repeats over and over and over. And it goes to show you that, but when it comes down to, playing golf and beating someone, you just don't know.
Yeah.
And basically they had a great match on Saturday. And, I kind of looked over everything from Sunday, and I guess it was kind of anticlimactic because it was pretty much, it was six up after 7.
Yeah.
Out of the first, so, and just in case people at home, might be listening, don't understand what we're talking about. So in match play, right, it's person against person.
Yep.
And they've gone through a series of matches against others, and basically it comes down to 2 guys on the last day playing for the championship.
Yeah.
And so every hole counts. So
yeah.
if we're playing match play and I beat you on the first hole, then I'm 1 up.
Yeah.
So,
it doesn't matter whether they beat me by 1 or 6.
Yeah, you're
only getting 1 hole.
You can make a triple bogey, I make a double bogey, I'm still up.
Yeah.
So what was interesting about Sunday's event is the way I looked at it, I actually wrote a little blurb about it, but Kisner just kind of got on the bogey train there. Watson didn't play. I think he had only 3 birdies through whatever hole they finished on, which still okay, but not tour incredible, right?
Yeah.
But basically he went on, I think it was 5 bogeys in a row, or some kind of number where he just kept making bogey.
Yeah, he struggled out of the gate really bad.
Yeah, and he just couldn't recover, and Watson was basically just making pars, and he built up 6-shot lead, 6 up. You're not gonna give up 6 up. I mean, he would have to collapse on the opposite end.
Yeah, and it's no longer a 36-hole final, which it used to be back, 5, 6, 8 years ago.
I didn't even know it was.
It used to be a 36-hole final, which was,
more grueling, and you could have some switches.
Yeah, I'm down 4, 5, but I've still got 9 holes to make it up. I've got 27 holes to make it up. So
this one was pretty tough, but
I
will say this though, and we got the Houston Open this week, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's the like I like to call it, it's the Masters warm up. And it's always cool because somebody's going to win Sunday and get a drive right to Augusta, which I think a couple years ago it was actually Jimmy Herman did that, local guy, right?
Yep.
Remember?
Yep.
And he actually won the Houston Open and was able to punch his ticket and go to the Masters. But it's going to be interesting for the Masters. But I think I like Bubba Watson. I'm going to pick today. Mm-hmm. I'm going to go early. And I like what Tiger's doing, and I like, Dustin Johnson, and I like a lot of guys, but I think Bubba Watson's going to win the Masters.
Wow.
I think Bubba Watson is going to win the Masters. I think he hit the ball really good, and that golf course, he's got 2 wins. He hasn't played great in majors, doesn't have a great major record, and it's kind of how he plays, but that place is made for him. He can hit it everywhere. He's got great creativity. He's going to have a lot of small irons, and that his ball flight is perfect for the Masters. That's the only thing. Not that Justin Thomas doesn't have great ball flight, but Watson can hit it up to the moon, which he hits it to the moon. Yeah. And so
we saw that a few years ago when he hit that wedge on 10 in the playoff from. And put a 50-yard hook on it.
Yeah, he can do so much with the ball. So I'm going out. I'm saying I think he's going to win the Masters. That's going to be my pick. And I read something this morning, the other day. It's 16-1. I don't gamble, but that would be a pretty good bet, 16-1 right now, because that would be a really good.
Why not?
Yeah. So I like him. I think he's going to do well. That's my choice. So remind me next week when we have our green pimento sandwich.
Interesting. Yeah,
it's coming up.
Quite interesting.
Yeah. So it was fun.
I mean, it's early yet, but I got a feeling we're going to have a first-time major winner.
You think somebody's going to sneak up on?
I think somebody's going to sneak in there that we don't expect.
Really?
Yeah.
That's hard to pick, though.
Yeah.
So you're like covering a couple of bets here and saying, yes, I am
true,
going.
yeah.
My pick is going to be somebody who hasn't won yet.
Hasn't won a major yet.
Maybe from a country somewhere.
From somewhere on planet Earth.
That's okay. You got to do something. So.
I'd like to see Ricky win, and a lot of people out there that have listened to us know that Ricky's my guy. He's my favorite player right now.
Right.
But
I got to root for my single length iron guy too. I mean, he's been playing really well, but I don't know if that's the game for the Masters. But I mean, golf is golf.
You know who else is playing well? That's got a couple of green jackets. Phil Mickelson actually played pretty well in the match play.
Oh, he's been playing well for a couple weeks.
I mean, he won a few weeks back.
Right.
Played well this past week. So Phil could be somebody to watch as well.
Well, it wouldn't shock me. I mean, if you go down the list we just covered, I think Tiger's poised to do it. Yeah. We're gonna see where Tiger's at.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. It's gonna be a similar formula to what we saw a couple weeks ago, and you and I were going back and forth, and I said, Tiger's gonna come out and he's gonna shoot 67, 68 the first day. Normally doesn't back it up. Usually there isn't a great Friday. I don't know why. I don't know, but if you look at it, it's just like Friday's a little off, quiet I call it. Saturday is kind of where he decides, kind of like, am I going to make a move?
Makes his run, yeah.
Yeah, you have to. And then Sunday, if Tiger's 2 or 3 shots back, it's a free for all because you watch the boards, they change so quickly.
Oh yeah.
And momentum and we talk about it all the time. Tiger at the Masters, 3 holes in front of you is pretty intimidating.
Yeah.
Crowd wise. And the Masters has huge crowds, but still Tiger's always going to pull.
Yeah.
The biggest.
And you were talking about momentum. Like with Bubba Watson.
Right.
I mean, last year he was outside the top 100 in rankings. That's how far his game had fallen.
Right.
And he had to get into the top 50 to get into this event.
Right.
And he won what he won in at Riviera earlier this year. So he's obviously peaking.
Right.
He seems to be peaking at the right time.
Well, it's another thing we talk about. You win the first major, right, and you establish yourself, in history, as one of the great players, or you're always going to be a Masters champion, which is a big deal.
Oh, yeah.
And then you win a second one, which validates the first one, and with that came, success, wealth, endorsements, a lot of things. And then he got married, or he was married. They adopted a baby,
adopted a kid. Yep.
Right. So now all of a sudden you've got we talk about all the time. You've got the 2 majors, you've got the big endorsements. Probably don't really have to work. I mean, maybe a little bit, but your life's really secure. And you go into this funk that we talk about. There's no grind. There's no what's driving them. What's driving. And then they sit back, and I think we talked about it. Didn't Watson was talking something about just taking stop playing, or he was having a conversation about just taking time off or not playing, right?
Yeah.
And his wife, didn't you tell me?
Oh yeah, his wife kind of got after him. Was like, no, you.
Yeah, what are you whining about?
What are you whining about?
Yeah,
Go
we
play.
talked about that a month ago.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
so
because he had said that right after he won at Riviera, he had said his wife basically told him,
get your head out of your and get going.
Let's go. Yeah,
you're worried about all the stuff that
you can't control, or that then just go out there and play golf.
Yeah. And that's really good advice, because sometimes you need a kick in the pants to get you going. But that's how motivation starts, right? So, and then I'm sure there was a lot of stuff going on, but he finds his groove. Bubba Watson is interesting to me from the coaching perspective, because that swing is not something that breaks down. You can't break that down as a coach real simple. It's got so many parts to it that
it's not one you want to teach anybody either, but.
I mean, but think about it it works for him, but when it's not working for him, the fix to it's probably a little tougher than trying to fix, Justin Thomas's swing, right, or anybody that's just a little off playing or something. But Watson would be very interesting. But he's such a field talent, and he hits it so solid. That's why I like those guys at the Masters. I like the guys that can wing it around and get in pine straw and flip it over some big pine tree, or knock it through a gap, or bounce it off a hill.
Yeah.
Because you're going to have to hit some incredible shot there.
Imaginative shot, at some point in time,
Because it's all on the green structure, right? And the guys that are like the robot players that the ones you kind of think of, they kind of struggle there because they have, they don't have enough, I don't know, tricks in the bag, shall we say?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Maybe.
Yeah, that's where I like DeChambeau. Like, to me, I don't know if he has enough tricks or shots in his bag. Mm-hmm. I just don't know if that technique where the hands are straight up.
Because he is so completely different just in his mindset. I mean, he's
totally.
So analytical about everything in his golf swing.
Right.
Maybe he needs somebody to tell him, just swing the club and let it go.
It'd be really
stop worrying about
Yeah.
what's the temperature of the air right now. That's going to affect me by 0.27%. So I got it. Oh man, that would
drive you nuts. And
Watson is, you mentioned being his caddy.
Watson is so opposite of that, right? It's more like, where's the ball? Whack it. Oh, that's pretty good. I think that would be a really interesting pairing. They probably drive each other crazy.
Yeah, it would be like putting what's his name, Ben Crane with John Daly. I mean, one plays at 100 miles an hour and one plays
95
in reverse.
Reverse, right? That would drive John Daly crazy. We won't bring up Kevin Na, but that would be another John Daly pairing that would not be conducive to John. It would wear out John Daly quicker than it would wear out Kevin Na.
Oh, yeah.
He would just slow down.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, I remember following Daly in some tournaments, and he obviously was usually the longest guy out of the group, and he would be basically standing over his ball, just about ready to pull the trigger while the last guy hit before it was his turn. And the ball wouldn't even be out of the air yet, and his ball's on the way, and he's already got his club in the bag and walking down the fairway.
Yeah. So fast. That's how he played. Grip it and rip it.
Yeah.
It was an absolute truth.
Yeah.
That wasn't made up. That's how he plays.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And Watson's a little more like that too.
Yeah.
Pick your club, decide, hit it. And but you've been in Masters. I've been. We've been. It's a whole different perspective when you've been there, right? Because you know the what he's looking at on some of those tee boxes and how big those pines are, and their swings there. If you can carry or get things over edges, I mean, you could change that golf course real quick the way he hits it. Mm-hmm. So I'm curious to see. That's going to be my pick now, and I'm kind of interested to see how that comes out. We'll see.
That'd be cool.
Yeah,
that'd be very cool. So, what do you think? You want to take a break?
Yeah, well, let's check with our guys.
While we're taking a breath?
Yeah. All right, here we go.
130 yards now. Bill's got a very tough lie here. Looks like we have some sort of sea monster in the water hazard here. I believe that's a Kraken, Bruce. It looks like he's going to go with the 9-iron. That may not be enough club. Well, he's definitely going to lose a stroke on this hole. If you're
And welcome back to the Wednesday Night Golf Show, the Humpday edition.
Welcome back.
One more bit of news before we get to our guest. They have the Chip and Putt Championships at Augusta National. They started this a few years back.
Yes, we have some stories there.
We have a local in this,
right.
Gloria Knipp,
who
plays out at the PGA Golf Club. Will be in the she's going to be in the girls 10 to 11 division. This is her second trip to Augusta. She's been there.
She can
been there a couple of times now.
She can do it. She can roll it. She can chip it.
Yep.
And she can drive it.
Yeah.
That's turned into quite a big event.
Golf equivalent of what, punt, pass, and
exactly. Yep.
That's exactly what it is.
She participated in 2015 in the girls 7 to 9 division. So congratulations to her.
Hope she does well.
That it's going to be on TV this weekend. So if you got a chance to, if you happen to stumble on that,
it's pretty fun to watch.
It's pretty cool. It's neat.
They do a really nice job with that.
Yep. And what's neat is you see all the members out there watching. And,
sure.
And it's pretty neat.
It is.
And some of the pros that come in early to get in some practice before. The guys that aren't playing this weekend.
They'll
get out there and they'll go out there and support the kids. So it's pretty neat to watch.
It is really neat.
So
we'll have to follow the paper or whatever who's covering it.
Yeah, congratulations to her.
That is cool.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So now we go to our guest.
Got our guest caller.
With us on the phone is Henry Adams. He's with Sound Caddy. This seems to be a new trend now in in golf. You know, you're practicing. You see a lot of the guys when they're practicing or warming up, they got their earphones or headphones in their ears, and they got some music going on to get their tempo down and everything else, and
Get their groove on.
get their groove on. Well, this allows you to put it in your bag.
Put it in your bag.
Yep. And Henry's here to tell us about it. Henry, how are you tonight?
I'm doing well. How are you guys? Thanks for letting me on.
We're doing well. So tell us a little bit about yourself and and a little bit about Soundcaddy.
Sure. So, born and raised in Denver. Grew up playing golf avidly, and so through and through, I'm a golfer and wanted to create a product that was allowing me to bring music out to the golf course that was a lot easier than bringing along a speaker box or one of the other brand name speakers out there. And those are often a problem because you get through one or two holes and your phone's either halfway dead before you get to the course or it dies during the round, and all of a sudden your music dies on you. So what I wanted to do is create a speaker that not only played great sound with high-fidelity speakers, but also charge your phone at the same time. And that's kind of one of the little ideas behind it.
That way you don't miss that grocery list that your spouse sends you, and you missed it because your phone was dead, and you get home and it's like, well, where's the steaks to put on the grill for dinner? Well,
yeah, no, we've definitely saved a few marriages.
Very cool.
Oh. Henry, this is your invention.
It is.
Very cool.
I thought it up when just out with some friends, and phone died and music stopped, and wanted to keep the party going, so went to the drawing board.
Well, the website is soundcaddygolf.com if you want to look it up out there, and all of you listening. And now it looks kind of like a golf club. Have you ever accidentally pulled it out to
give it a whack?
So I didn't want to model it exactly like a driver. It's a 460cc head, just like any typical tour driver.
So it's USGA legal. Okay.
Yeah, no, it's you're not supposed to hit with it. We've got a disclaimer on the website that says if you're foolish enough, that's about the only way that we won't warranty the device malfunctioning or breaking is hitting a golf ball with it. So don't do that, but that's about the only use that you can't do with it. It's got a collapsible 4-piece shaft, and hidden underneath the grip, you can twist it off, and it'll reveal a turf spike, and you can stick that in the ground. So if you're in a backyard barbecue or maybe the driving range, chipping range, putting green, whatever it might be, you can actually just stick that in the ground and have it up above the water. With that being said, though, the water part of it was also a concern. So we made it weatherproof. It's not lab tested or anything like that, so we don't have an IPX rating on there.
Okay.
But it is. I've fully submerged one in a lake, and it totally worked afterwards. And we've done that multiple times, and there's no issues with it.
That's cool. Henry, how old are you, if you don't mind me asking?
I am 32 years old, and grew up like most anybody my age, and people older than myself as well, but watching Tiger Woods, and he was my golfing idol, regardless of any extracurriculars at all. And he was always that guy that inspired me to go out and play.
So what do you tell people that say, you got to whisper on the golf course? I mean, the guys in the tower are whispering when the guy's 200 yards away in the fairway, and here you are, you're playing music while you're playing, maybe, or while you're practicing. What do you say to those people? There's
a lot of stats out there that are showing more and more golfers are bringing music to the course, and it's as high as 66% with the millennial generation. And it barely goes down from there with older crowds or even younger crowds. And so that being said, it's becoming sort of the norm a majority of the time, and I foster the traditions of golf as an individual, and with the company I wanted to make sure that we did the same thing. But I do understand that the majority of people out there, they're not playing professional or tournament rounds. They're going out to have fun with their buddies after a long, stressful work week, or they're going on vacation and they're wanting to relax and unwind. And most of us, with whether it's Bob Marley or Stevie Ray or Vaughn or whoever it might be, if you can play some music and unwind, maybe get out of your head a little bit, you'd be surprised how much better it helps your golf game.
There you go. And if you're playing with Alice Cooper, you can put some of his music on. He'd probably think that was pretty cool.
Yeah, you might hit it a little farther too.
As we're talking about this, I always Caddyshack is such a classic reference to all of golf, and this always brings up that one scene where he's got the big giant bag and he's shooting clubs out of it, and it's got a keg spout in it, and he says,
playing Journey.
"What are you talking about?" "Well, let's dance," and he whips that bag open. It's got like a car radio in it, right?
Yeah.
Which is absolutely hilarious when you think about it. It was like a car radio plugged in his bag. And he whips that thing on, and they're dancing the fairway, and there's Judge Smales down at the putting green. "Oh, it's making this noise." Blah, 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 blah. So it kind of goes back to that whole stodiness of golf, right?
Oh, yeah.
And but I think more and more people, you do hear people taking music. It's always going to come down to the person who owns this product that has the courtesy, right, to obviously not interfere with other golfers if that's something that they don't want to listen to. And like you said, you're probably, it's not going to be in a tournament. You're not going to see guys try to interrupt people that are playing high-end competitive golf. But a bunch of guys having a good time, I see this as a very fun part of that day, I guess you're going to fight over whose playlist you're listening to. What's that?
Yeah, I was going to say that if somebody lacks etiquette, it's going to come out in more ways than them just playing music too loud. So,
yeah, really.
Screaming on the tee box or on the putting surface or whatever it might be, that'll definitely come out. And there was just an ESPN article about Jordan Spieth, about him bringing out music to the golf course. It's on our Facebook page on Sound Caddy Golf on Facebook, and it references him bringing out music almost every time he's playing at his home course in Dallas.
Right.
And you've got Rory McIlroy out on the range nearly every single time. I mean, he's got a Bose sponsorship.
Yeah.
So he's listening to music while he's playing, and it's just becoming more and more relaxed. They're deformalizing lots of other key areas of golf with maybe potentially allowing shorts and all the new rule changes. So there's a whole lot of deformalization going on out there, and I think that as long as you can do it in a reasonable way, it's only going to add to the enjoyable golf experience.
So what happens when Rory pulls up next to Jordan? It's like being in traffic, right? And you're listening. You're in your car. And you're listening to maybe what you like to hear, whatever that is. James is listening to Barry Manilow.
Yep.
And then somebody pulls up next to you, and the car's about ready to lose a window. And James looks over and says, "Hey, how you doing?" So it's going to be like these two guys on the range, right? Like, turn it up a little, turn it up a little, turn it up a little, like, and all of a sudden, it's just going to break out. It's going to go crazy. But I think for a lot of people,
like Sound Caddy Wars.
Yeah, Sound Caddy Wars. That's right.
Yeah, there you go.
Can brand that. That would be part of your next marketing campaign.
So yeah, just if I can jump back into the product just a little bit more, we've got. So I talked a little bit about the charging capability. So we've got dual USB drivers on the back of the head that also screws off of the shaft, and it's got a T in the hosel that can stick into the tee holder within pretty much any golf cart out there. And if you bring that into your cart, you can flip the little weatherproof flap off the back of it and charge two devices at once while streaming music at the same time. We've got a microphone built into the face of the club itself, so you can leave your phone completely in your bag, not have to fiddle with it at all. Volume controls up, down, track search, back and forth, a multifunction button that allows you to actually take a call from the head of the club. So it's got a speakerphone built into the actual Sound Caddy unit, which is surprisingly very helpful.
So it
vibrates. Go ahead.
So you suddenly feel like Get Smart. You like Maxwell Smart with the shoe phone, but you've got a driver phone.
Would you believe?
Yeah.
You are dating yourself, young man. You are dating yourself with Maxwell Smart.
But he's talking about the movie, right?
Oh,
yeah.
Oh no, I remember the series.
I was trying to give you a little buy there.
Hey, All
right.
So, what? Go ahead, finish your features because we want to know everything you can do. Is there anything more you want to do?
Yeah, and beyond that, one of the major last ones is that it's got dual drivers within the interior of the head, and it's got porting on the top of the speaker as well as on the bottom of the head unit. So it works whether it's on more of its like a desk setting. It'll project the music up, or if it's in your bag or in the cart, it just really isolates and focuses that music to wherever you are. And then beyond that, the shaft itself will do 4 pieces, and you can put it into a backpack, you can put it into carry-on, you can the the biggest thing with us was going into retail here soon. We wanted to make sure that shelf space was taken into account. Any retailer will appreciate that, and it basically kills or makes a brand. And we wanted to make it so it was travel worthy, but also fit into a nice, tidy little box for retailers and for shipping. And we accomplished that. And it's a fantastic little portable speaker device.
That's pretty neat.
How loud can it get? Can it get pretty loud, or do you have?
Yeah. So the exact number off the top of my head right now, I should have had it. I believe it's 119 decibels, which is
I don't know what that means.
Loud. Yeah.
It is plenty loud.
It's uncomfortably. It's uncomfortably loud if you hold it up, or if you're within a car itself. I mean, normal listening volume is probably 70 to 80 decibels, and this will get pretty loud.
City of Stewart, I think, has a limit of 70 decibels. Yeah.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
We got a sleepy old town here.
So you could wake up some neighbors with this bad boy.
Yeah, and it's a fantastic sounding device. I mean, with that 119 decibel range, we're not distorting, we're not sounding completely garbled, so we're not maximizing or pushing it to its limits at that range. We're just making sure that it projects loudly enough to where you can hear it from the golf cart if you're up on the tee box or the putting surface or wherever it is. But with that also, a good point to probably point out now is I know that not everybody's going to be a fan of music, and on the golf course especially, but anywhere really. But with the SoundCat, we've got a multi-function button on the middle of the device that if you're pulling up to a green or a tee box or wherever it might be back to the clubhouse, and you're getting some looks or you want to at least show some courtesy, you can go ahead and kill that music with one touch button.
Oh wow!
Yeah, and it's very it's super functional that way, and it will start the music right back up where you left off, and track won't keep going. It just pauses everything. Then as soon as you get out of earshot, it starts it right back up. So it's fantastic.
And the battery lasts for, I'm reading here, a little over 10 hours.
What's the better? You have to charge a unit up, basically, right?
You charge it like you do your phone, probably, yeah.
Yeah. We're we had to end it somewhere, but we thought about doing some solar capabilities with it. But being at a competitive price point we're competitive with the Puma Chucks and some other speaker brands out there. As far as price, I'd say we exceed several of them as far as quality, but we wanted to be very conscious of the consumer markets, and we feel like we've delivered a fantastic product for a very reasonable price.
That's very. I got a quick question. What if you had 4 of them?
Yep.
And you were to put the stakes in, like a party, like an after. It could be after golf. It could be your backyard.
Yeah.
I mean, if you put 4 of them down, or you multiples, would one Bluetooth, can you run all 4, or would they have to be separate?
So that was another capability that we looked at, and that's called pairing. So if you're able to pair multiple speakers to the same head unit or the same phone, that was a functionality that we looked at. However, when you're out on the course, you're really limited by the range of today's Bluetooth. So if one cart peels off, and people I golf with, we're not always down the center of the fairway. So you might have somebody off in the woods way to the left, or you might have somebody way to the right, or wherever it might be. You're limited by that range, about 30 feet or so with Bluetooth. So constantly having them lose each other, sync back up, lose each other, sync back up. We felt like as far as a golf application, it wasn't necessary, but we are looking at maybe doing that for round 2.
Oh, cool. Now, the retail on this is $129, I'm reading on your website, and you're offering free shipping. So.
Yep. And that does include free shipping, and at soundcaddygolf.com, you can go in there and order one, and we often run little specials for Father's Day or for Christmas, but make sure to follow our Instagram page at SoundCaddy Golf, or jump on our Facebook at SoundCaddy Golf. And we're always going to promote little specials to where you can get $30 off, $20 off here or there, and there might be some buy one get one discount options coming up here in the future.
There you go. You got Father's Day's coming up. I mean, it'll be here before you know it.
Yeah, it does make a fantastic gift. Yeah,
it's a good Father's Day gift.
Well, we're going to take a quick break. You want to hang on through the break, and we'll talk a little more on the other side?
Yeah, sounds great.
All right. And we're back on the Wednesday Night Golf Show, the Humpday edition.
A little taste of Journey.
Little Journey coming in and out of the break. It's WSTU Radio, 1450 AM in the Stewart area, and WSTU TV for people listening out there in internet land. We had some issues last week, but we're back up and running. So, and with us on the phone is Henry Adams. Henry is the inventor of the Sound Caddy, which is it's a Bluetooth device to play some music. This is pretty high end. I mean, when you think about it, it's the size of the speakers, and it's got a lot of features. It
thought out very well. Henry did a really good job planning.
Henry did a really good job. Now, how long has this product been out?
Well, this will be our first real run at the spring market.
Okay.
We started selling roughly about June to July last year, and we didn't have a whole lot of inventory. It was kind of a test run to make sure that our quality control was pretty solid, and it went off without a hitch, and made a few little tweaks here and there, and then we sold like crazy through Christmas, and then now we're kind of coming into that peak season for golf, as well as like I mentioned before, Father's Day, which I think be a fantastic little gift item.
So you're, as the guys would say on Shark Tank, you're proof of concept.
Yeah.
Now you're in the real world. Now you're going to have to get it done. Turn it up. Get your inventory. Get retailers. Get it going.
Yeah. Exactly.
I love it.
So we've got plenty of inventory currently, and we're being pretty selective as to who we're rolling out to. We've talked with several different e-tailers and retailers, and some big box, but we want to make sure that we don't dilute the brand, and we don't just go out into space and just like I said, we're all golfers. I love golf through and through, and I just want to make sure that this really is a niche product that serves the golf community. And we, at this stage, are also kind of looking at a gifting option for corporate, whereas you can give this and put your logo on the bottom of the club, and it's a really cool three-dimensional logo that is up to 4 colors, so corporations or clubhouses or whatever club it might be can actually put their logo on the bottom of the Sound Caddy, offer it at tournaments, offer it for Christmas, offer it for prizes, whatever it might be.
That's where the business is.
That's kind of our next avenue.
Yeah, it's a good idea. I mean, tee gifts are huge. You know, everybody, you play in an event, you kind of like a neat prize or a neat goodie in your bag.
Absolutely.
All right.
Well, Henry, thank you so much for taking a few minutes to talk to us tonight. Wish you the best of luck, and keep us posted on things. And we'll look forward to seeing the Sound Caddy and some bags, or some golf bags around here, hearing them on the golf course. That'll be great.
Yeah, perfect. If my team hasn't already sent them, I know that we're planning on it, so watch for them, and we'd love your feedback as well.
Perfect. Sounds good. We'll write about it.
All right. Appreciate it,
guys. Well, thank you so much. It's been a pleasure.
You're welcome. Thanks again, Henry. Have a good night.
You as well. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Pretty cool.
Yeah.
Pretty neat.
I'd like to if you do ever get it, if it comes in, I test it out, shoot a video on it.
Yeah, we'll try it out.
Yeah, it'd be fun. We'll get some Hawaiian music on there, too.
There we go. That'll work.
We'll do it.
Some Don Ho.
Come on.
Nothing like hitting a drive.
Come on.
Nothing like hitting a drive to Tiny Bubbles.
Oh, don't get me started. It's one of the 5 songs I can sing.
There's 5 of them, huh?
5 of them I do quite well, actually, but that's for a different show. I need an audience for that, and it needs to be quiet.
Well, that won't work in this room.
And there needs to have been a lot of drinking involved prior.
It could, but I think I could do the lyric with Tiny Bubbles if I really had to. Okay. So we're going to finish up today with the Masters. What are we doing?
Well, we got, they got to finish they got to play the Houston,
the Houston
Open first.
Come on,
it's
the warm up. Somebody's going to win. Congratulations, welcome to the Masters.
Like you said, somebody might be jumping in the car Sunday night.
People at Houston
driving to Augusta
are like, that guy's an idiot.
And they'll get to Augusta and they'll realize that every hotel within 100 miles is booked.
They'll be begging for somebody. Hey, can I get the basement? Can I get that little? Can I get a couch somewhere? No, this is the Shell Houston Hope.
It used to be Shell. They're not. They're not sponsoring it anymore.
Now?
It's just the Houston Open. I don't believe they have a title sponsor at the moment.
Wow, that's a shocker, right?
That's huge.
It's kind of amazing in itself.
Yeah.
But So next week, Wednesday, will be our Masters preview show.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So we're going to have some Masters themed. We'll have some pimento cheese. What else are we doing? What did we do last year?
Oh, well, we ought to make some mint juleps. That would be interesting.
Yeah.
A little Kentucky bourbon and
Yeah.
yeah, that'll work.
And I'll start singing Tiny Bubbles, and it'll be over.
I'll never forget the time we did a live remote. We were out at the out here at Indian River, the park at the
Indian River Plantation.
We were out at the
Inside Riverside Park.
Yeah, Indian Riverside Park
Yeah,
at the mansion there.
mansion.
Right, the Tuckahoe Mansion.
The Tuckahoe Mansion.
Right.
And they had a big wine thing going on, a big wine tasting and everything else. And they brought us like 2 or 3 bottles of wine.
Nice.
And we drank them while we were doing the show.
Gosh.
And
That's
when we
the show I
got
wanna
when we
do.
got done, the lady comes up and says, "Well, where's the bottles of wine?" We're like, "What do you mean?" They were like, "Well, that was just a prop." I'm like, "You did realize we were on radio, right?" I mean, you can't say
We don't need props on
we
the
couldn't
radio.
exactly
Yeah.
show it on the radio, so we had to taste it and tell everybody how good it was.
She didn't expect that to happen.
They weren't expecting that.
Boom.
We never got invited back.
Probably
no, we did
not.
not. No, and they've had it a few more times since then, but we didn't.
We never
what?
got invited.
You know, if we ever get invited back, we're bringing our sound caddy with us.
There it is.
That'd be cool. So you and I should do our top 10 Masters.
Okay.
So I got Watson on the top. We'll do our list. What do you think?
That sounds good.
Put that out there, and we'll have some of our little sandwiches to try.
Oh yeah.
Mint juleps, that's on you. I don't know if I can go that deep. I don't know if I can do that.
Well,
deep.
some sweet Georgia tea.
Sweet Georgia tea.
Yeah,
That'll work.
But it's pimento cheese sandwiches and chicken sandwiches too. But I don't think that's really hard to recreate here.
Yeah.
Pimento cheese. You make your spread. I'll make my spread.
All right,
And
that'll
Frank
work.
will be our judge.
Oh, I like
Frank will
this.
judge
like
us.
that?
That'll work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll have little sandwiches, and we'll have our Masters list, and we'll get everybody fired up. We'll fire up our social media wagons here this week and
There
try
you
to
go.
get everybody to get to our show.
Tony Romo played
I've heard
in the
of him.
played on the PGA Tours, the Web.com tour thing in the Dominican Republic. He finished dead last. But he wasn't horrible. I mean, I think the first day I think his front 9 on the first day he was under par or even par or 1 under.
Right.
He shot like 35 or 36 on the front 9, but shot like 41 or so on the back 9. So,
right.
And then he couldn't get it rolling at all on Friday.
What was the number? I forgot. I read it someplace, but it was like 84.
He shot 77 82.
82. Yeah.
Whoa.
Which is look, it's respectable.
I think it is, yeah.
The web.com is hard. I mean, those guys come off of that tour and they win on the PGA Tour. So, but it's like we always talk about. There's a lot of good golfers out there in the world that play a lot of good club golf, but there is something about when you tie up those shoes and you play in that kind of environment. And I tell I got juniors playing next week in tournaments, and I tell them all the time, look, if you think you're good shooting par, driving around your course, you're going to shoot 78 to 80 in a tournament.
Yeah.
So you better be shooting 4 or 5 under every time when you play for fun. If
Yeah.
you think you're going to shoot.
If you think you're going to have a chance, yeah.
Yeah, and that's just how golf is.
Yep.
So
And
That's
speaking
it.
of how it is,
that's how it is.
that's how it is. We're done. It's out. We're out of here.
We are out. Well, we'll see
Everybody,
next week.
Thanks for joining us. We'll get our we'll have our Masters green on next week, and
We shall.
Oh, yeah.
be ready to roll.
All right.
Everybody have a happy Easter and happy Passover that's coming up.
That's Friday.
That's right. So enjoy the rest of your week, folks. We'll see you next Wednesday.
Take care.
All righty.